everybody. Welcome to Dirty Thursday. And I tell you what, I really don't know what to say about this show today because it's kind of a dream for me today with the guys we've got in the studio, along with our co-host Stephen Lewis and, of course, Dale, the producer. Austin Pierce is in here. Used to drive the number 2 NOSA Sprint car. We're going to find out what's going on in his world. Of course, our good friend Tommy Corcoran in the NLRA number T1. And for the first time ever, we're going to give him a round of applause. Shane Roemeling, NOSA number 31 driver. This is going to be fun. Show today brought to you by the Red River Valley Motorcyclist Spirit of America Bike and Car Show. It's the Red River Valley Motorcyclist Spirit of America Bike and Car Show, Saturday and Sunday, May 3rd and 4th at the Alaris Center in Grand Forks. Admission is just $10. Kids 12 and under are free with a paying adult, and veterans are absolutely free. There's going to be a raffle with $90,000 worth of prizes, including a Polaris 1000 North Star Ultimate Crew Cab Ranger, a Harley-Davidson Street Glide, and Polaris Sportsman 570, with the net proceeds benefiting the Veterans Honor Flight of North Dakota, Minnesota. Get your tickets by calling Scott at 406-899-5247 or Timothy at 701-739-1605 or go to rrvmnd.org. The Red River Valley Motorcyclist Spirit of America Bike and Car Show, Saturday and Sunday, May 3rd and 4th at the Alaris Center in Grand Forks. And we have already got all kinds of people calling and texting in. Wade Nygaard, Sugar Shane. Best morning ever. Hello from sunny southern Minnesota. Jeff Cornels, there you go, Chewy. Forks Paul, hey man. Nick Curtis, good morning all. And Nick, I think, was he the first one to call us back again or get back to us?
Right on time.
Yeah, right on time, right on time. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to text or call like these guys are doing. Our number here at the studios is 701-213-0863, 701-213-0863. Let's do it. We'll get it out of the way right away. Our daily segment called Jokes My Neighbor Tells Me. Here we go. Jokes My Neighbor Tells Me. You know, my wife and I, we laugh all the time about how competitive we are, but I laugh more. Or should I throw a... There we go.
I get it.
Yeah. How you been, man?
Good. All good. Yep.
Saw you down at the Dolly Down yesterday.
Yep.
Of course, the
For
usual. Sure. Withy showed up even.
Yeah, it was pretty pretty deep 3-table setup there yesterday.
Yeah, it was. So. You guys got to start calling and having him rope off a whole section for you.
Yep.
I want to say, again, I want to thank Tommy Corcoran. Of course, been here on this show many, many times, but... for the first time ever, I was at Tommy's place last weekend on Sunday. I'd never been there before. And so we hung out in the garage for a while. And of course, we drank a couple of beers and got to talking. We ended up at the Legion for a couple of more beers and more talking. But I told him I'd always wanted to get Shane Roemeling on the show. And he goes, well, you know, I hang around with him. And we know it. And I'm like, well, I didn't know that. And he goes, let me make a couple of calls. And I'm like, well, good luck with that. Next thing you know, he's game. And I couldn't believe it. And I was just like, yes.
The two toughest guys from the sprint pit to get on have been Shane and Nick Omnall.
Yeah.
For as big as they, personality-wise as they are, they just don't like coming here.
It was so funny.
You know, and I don't blame a guy, but, you know.
It was so funny when we first tried to get Nick Omnall on the show. He's like, I don't like to be in public, or I like to lay low. And I'm like, dude, you had cornrows in your hair last year. Yeah, you want to go unnoticed? Really? Oh, man. Shane Roemeling, I want to say welcome to the show. You're famous.
Oh, yeah, real famous.
Well, quite literally.
Intro, I was going to say.
I was about to say he's literally on the show every week. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And I've had a lot of people talk to me about that intro. But do you remember that night when you crashed? Because if you people don't know, the guy coming out of turn 4 there that turns abruptly and just hammers the wall head on and basically through the fence was this guy. And basically you walked away from it. But do you remember the events that happened that night?
Oh, yeah. That was the Outlaw Night. I remember.
Oh, that was Outlaw Night. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, something broke.
Right front steering arm broke. Boom. It was instant.
And the car, I'm guessing, was junk.
It was totaled. Yeah. It ripped the whole front cross.
Now, you basically walked away from that.
Yeah. That was not that bad, really.
Yeah, and man, it sure looked. I think everything that was supposed to break, or maybe not supposed to break, but did, had a lot to do with the fact that you didn't get hurt. I mean, the wall giving, those brand new 800-year-old wall, that kind of gave away, and and the car falling apart like it did, but it dissipated all the energy. But that was a good deal because that was a nasty wreck.
Well, the way his car takes off right on him there, it almost looks like that Macedo wreck at Knoxville last year. You just know right away it was like what broke there. Like until he said stereo, I was just like, did a torsion stop come off or whatever?
I mean, you're turning right to turn left, but literally you turn right.
Yeah.
Not turning left to turn right. Does that make sense? And then the guy across from me here, we got to give a round of applause, too, to the T1 driver, Tom Corcoran. Every year, I keep asking you and keep texting you and calling you and whatever, and are you going to go again? Are you going to go again? And so when I went over to the house on Sunday, we were in the shop, and, well, are you going to race this year? And he was tinkering with the car, and so, well, I'm waiting on a new motor. Okay, there's my answer right there. How many years will this be for you now, sir?
56.
Hold on. What's going on here? Try that again.
56.
Okay. Why? Oh, I'm going to have to switch back and forth. 56 years behind the wheel of a race car. Now, you just turned 70.
Yep.
It's funny because I was talking to the neighbor here the other day on Monday, and I said, wow, I went over to Tom's, and we were hanging out for a while and stuff like that. And she had mentioned something about, what the hell did she say? I didn't know you were that old. I had no idea you were that old. She said, he doesn't look like he's 70. I said, you look younger than I do. How do you do it?
I don't.
All them years of good living, right?
Yeah, clean living.
Genetics and clean living. Yeah. Okay, when the clean living, you mean you keep your shop clean when you drink beer, or the Legion, or the Eagles, or what?
Well, you should realize that it took us 4 hours of discussion the other day just to get a plan cooked up to bring Shane in.
3 hours of that, and an hour about deciding if we should go to the Legion or the Eagles or not. But it all turned out good. All turned out good. Before we start going around here, I'm going to go to the left. It's been a while since we have seen Mr. Pierce here. Austin Pierce is in the studio, too. Of course, drove the number 2 for a long time. Also a NOSA champion in 2014 and 2017. In fact, I think you're tied for third for the most wins, I think, in NOSA. I think you've got 50 wins, something like that.
Yep, I think I'm tied with.
Okay, and there you go. And it'll be a while to catch Mark Dobmeyer with 195 wins.
Yeah.
195 wins.
It's gonna take someone a minute to get up there for sure.
Wow, but you know what? I never thought Gretzky's goal record would be beat, and it's going to be. And you know what? I don't mind. I kind of like Ovechkin. I met him during the World Junior Tournament here when he was just a kid. And boy, I tell you what.
When everyone was here.
Crosby, him, a lot of the guys were here.
Yep.
Okay, now, Tommy, you got a new motor coming in. Your plans for this year, are you going to hit her hard? Are you going to hit her about the same that you have been? Or have you really not quite decided yet?
Well, I'm probably going to do a little more racing than I did the last couple of years, but I think I'm going to spread it out a little bit.
Oh, okay. Now, I know you don't like doing back-to-back days, and I don't blame you. I don't even like getting out of bed back-to-back days. So if there's, would you rather go somewhere on a Saturday than be here on a Friday, or vice versa, or just go try something different, or haven't you even really thought about it yet?
Well, I think that's kind of the plan.
Okay.
If there's an event on a Saturday, I may skip Friday to go Saturday.
Okay, sure.
Just a lot of it hinges on local track conditions, things like that.
The new motor coming in, do you even feel like you're 70 years old? I mean, that's probably
Every
one of
morning.
the dumbest. I was going to say that's probably one of the dumbest questions I've ever asked. Do you feel like you're 70 years old? But it's hard for me to get out of bed every morning. I mean, it is. But I've lived a pretty hard life too. To love it though, to do what you're doing, because every year it's like, well, maybe. But it's got to be absolute love of the sport, or the people, or all of the above, or you just keep doing it.
Too old and dumb to quit. So.
Ryan Morton said, does anyone else think the volume is really low, or is it just me? I think our volume is pretty good here. I hope I look that good at 70. Scott Nelson. Good morning, fellas. Travis Strandell. Good morning, Wayne. Everybody. What's that?
Ignore that last comment.
Oh, okay. Ignore that last comment. Okay, now I'm going to go to, I want to talk to Shane for a little bit here. Didn't race a whole lot last year.
No.
And
a few races for.
Okay, and I know you ran a couple for him. Can we talk about why you weren't at the track as much last year?
Yeah, I mean, I don't care.
Tell us what's going on with you, Shane.
Well, my shoulder hurt, you know.
Yeah.
My right shoulder, and I went in and they said they wanted to scan it or X-ray it or whatever, and they said they found a mass, and I was like, oh gosh, that's not good. And yeah, it was not good. They did a test on it or whatever, and it was turned out to be monophasic synovial sarcoma. It's a cancer, very rare. Usually, you see a lot of people that get their, arms and legs are amputated because of it. But
oh wow!
Mine was between my lung and my heart, and I did some chemo, and I ended up going to Mayo. They removed a tumor about the size of a hand.
Okay.
And came back, and I was good, and I was just waiting for the, when they do the surgery, they cut you open just like open heart, so it's the same thing, same healing,
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You split the chest, the whole bit?
All the way down,
Oh,
yeah.
boy, okay.
And so that was quite the recovery before I could get back to race, so Wade Nygaard was begging to race, and said he'd fill in for me for a while, and I let him fill in for a while, but Austin was talking about originally doing it, so I had Austin do as many shows as he could do, until the doctors cleared me back from the sarcoma, and the year was pretty fun, I thought, and I went in for my second or third scan every 3 months, and they said that now I developed a nodule in my lung, 3 nodules, and so I'm back on. They did radiation, and now I'm back on chemo right now. I just did chemo on Tuesday. I got another round or 2 of that. So we'll see how it goes,
How do you feel?
I feel good. I just, there's days I'm super tired.
Tired? Yeah, that's a pretty common symptom.
There's days where I didn't eat for 7 to 10 days.
Wow.
But it's funny because you think a guy as big as me not hungry,
Yeah, right.
There's 2 things I like: racing and food.
Right. Now, I didn't know. I mean, I knew you were fighting, a cancer fight last year. I had no idea you had gone through that. I had no idea they had split you wide open, and you still got back in a race car.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was on the phone with Mark Dobmeyer yesterday, and we were talking basically about the support system around Shane Roemeling. And, of course, Don's name came up, and he said to me, he goes, you know what? He goes, I don't know how she does it. I mean, and we weren't even talking about living with you. We're talking about she's there all the time. I mean, a lot of the times she'll be there opening up the shop for you. I know the times when I had a car worked on there, I talked to her. I don't know if I ever even saw you there. Yeah. It was usually her, but how important is it, Shane, to have that support system like Don and your family?
Well, if you're a lucky few in the world that can have a girlfriend or a wife like that, you're very fortunate, because I just can't say enough good things about her, how good she is. She's such a good mom.
Yeah.
She's so patient. She's always cooking, cleaning, doing all the things that you don't want to do, Who wants to put away folded clothes or any of that stuff?
Right. Funny story. I'm wondering if you even remember this. One time in all my years at River City Speedway, I got yelled at, and it was in the pits, and Donnie Moocher remember that? He tore me a new ass. He tore us both a new asshole. I was driving by in a 4-wheeler. I don't know if I think I stole it. It was probably Donnie's 4-wheeler, even maybe Wayne's at the time. And I was in the back of the pits, and I didn't realize it, but you said, hey, give me your ride down to the end. And fine, you jumped on the front rack.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that was a no-no. And Donnie Moocher came and just chewed us a new ass. And I'm like, Donnie, I didn't know any better. Well, Shane did. So I'm like, okay. I left it at that. When we talked to Austin Pierce.
4-wheeler Nazis.
Yeah. Now, if we would have been in a golf cart, it would have been fine. You now, let me see if I got this right, because you've got a large family. You got a team. I know we're scaling back a little bit. I know you were going to get rid of some of your stuff. and again, correct me if I'm wrong. And the next thing you know, a guy says, well, what do you take for all of it? Or he threw a number out there that was, how could you say no? And pretty soon, Austin Pierce has nothing left to race. Is that how that worked?
Yeah, I mean, kind of down those lines. I mean, I had a roller for sale, and I just I had 3 cars sitting in the shop and a couple engines or whatever. So decided to put our older car up for sale, and we had 2 new ones that we were gonna put together, and we put one of those together, and then a guy, John Taves, had reached out and wanted to come look at the roller that I had for sale, and he come to my shop, and we ended up making a deal on the roller, and he's like, well, I mean, they run mini sprints, his kids or whatever, and he's like, well, we don't even have nothing as simple as like a jack or a fuel, like to set fuel on the motors and any of the specialty tools. And I'm like, and I just threw it out there. I'm like, well, you can buy it all if you want. And then he's kind of hemmed and hawed, and he's like, well, put a number together. And so then I thought about it for a week or so and shot him a number, and then he was interested in a few more things. So he came back to buy some more tires and rims and this and that. And he took that stuff. And then I walked into B-Dubs like 2 days later, and he called me. He's like, yeah, I was talking to one of the guys that's going to help us on our car this year, and he says we just need to buy it all or just take it all. And so I was like, holy cow. And well, we had a 60-degree day coming up, and it was kind of like how the weather is now, going up and down, and it was this time of year. And so I went home and kind of just threw everything into the trailer that I could and drove it down to Detroit Lakes and dropped it off for him, and then that was it. And
was that like a sad day for you on the ride home from Detroit Lakes? Were you thinking to yourself, oh, damn?
Yeah, I mean, it was tough, but like I kind of was in the position where I either needed to prepare for another full season or just be done. Like, I mean, my wife and family wanted to do more lake stuff.
Sure.
More family things. My son is playing spring hockey all the time and stuff like that. So I knew it was coming to the point where I was going to have to kind of step away or scale way back. And so the way it worked out probably the best way it could have.
Now, what did Mrs. Pierce have to say about all of this when it was said and done?
I mean, she was, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. Like, it was a sad deal because my kids loved going to it.
Right, and now they're the age where it's not such a pain in the ass to bring them.
Right, exactly. Yeah, she had her hands full the whole time. Like, she would be trying to wrestle them around up in the bleachers of the pits or have to stay in the trailer and watch a couple of them. But, I mean, my crew and everybody who helped out with them.
Sure.
Bakken would take them on the four-wheeler and stuff like that. So.
Well, I did learn one thing, Austin. Don't ever ask your mom and dad any questions about you and racing because they walk in here and I ask them about you and they have no clue. They have no clue. So I learned I don't ever ask them any racing questions anymore.
Well, if it's up to them, they would rather me not race. So
yeah. Well, what about your wife? Would she rather you not race too, or?
She says whatever makes you happy, I guess. So,
okay. Well,
racing makes me happy, and
and if she's happy, more people are happy.
I don't know if his wife's happy.
Yeah.
Well, so you said there it was just like, did you have a moment there driving back from DL or like where you felt it or whatever? So my kind of end of the story, or whatever, you hear the rumors and then they get confirmed or whatever. So I went down to Lisbon for, I think it ended up being her first 305 race or whatever, and I'm walking through the pits. And they had redone the car, but your pit cart still had the 2A on it. And I looked up, I looked at the car first, and I went, oh, neat, Kate. And I looked at the pit cart, and I went, oh. So it was kind of you kind of went one way and then the other. So, it was just, it was neat to see one and just like, oh, darn, the other, but.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, to sell it all at once, it didn't leave me like if I had a car in the shop, I probably would have put it together and started buying more stuff and probably would have never gotten away from it. But I think having a year off definitely was big, and you got to see if you really did miss it or not miss it. So
you ended up on the track 3 times, I think, last year.
Yeah, 3 different nights. Yep.
Okay, and were all of those in Shane's car?
Nope. The first one was in Dobmeyer's car.
Oh, that's right. That's right. He was okay.
Season opener.
Yep.
And then one night with Shane's car with the NOSA guys.
Okay.
And then another night in Shane's car with the IRA.
Okay.
Well, the way things started was so weird last year because we were getting done at 8:30 and having to do makeup features or whatever. He's in Mark's car, Wade's in Brendan's, then Wade's in Shane's, and then he's in Shane's, and then Wade's in Shane's, and like I was like, are we going to have to put an owner's title together too? Like, we didn't know who was coming and who was going for a little bit.
Lucky there weren't guys my size, because that seat would have really sucked to be flopping around in that thing. How did he approach you about running his car, or did you approach him, or how did that all work when you ran the race last year, the 2 races with him?
Well, it started with Mark calling me one day in April.
Okay.
His kid had, I think, confirmation.
That's what it was.
Something going on. So he had asked if I'd be interested in filling in for him. It happened to be the season opener, so I was like, well, I'm not retired then now if I'm going to come and race the first race. Well, anyway, I ran for him, and Mark just said, run it as if it were your car or whatever. And it was just that. And then Shane was still going through his surgery stuff where he was healing up, and he had seen kind of the deal we had worked out with Mark, and he said he would offer me a similar deal for any of the nights that I could fill in for him in Grand Forks. And it worked out right away. And then I just had so much going on with work and trying to go from thinking I was going to be done to mentally getting back in a full-time race car was a little bit, especially with the family and stuff. So then I ran the one night, and then Nygaard jumped in when I couldn't be there.
Okay.
And then the IRA night kind of worked out where I could be back in town for that. And
Sure.
So I ended up making one more night there. But
okay. When I was having beers with you, Tommy, this is what really got me really, really wanting to get Shane on the show. You kind of, and I knew this because how many cars do we see with Forks Finest on it? I mean, it doesn't matter what the class is. It doesn't matter. There's a ton of them. And that's when you brought up to the point where that, you know what, he's been on my car for, I don't know, just 20 years. I mean, I might be over 20 years.
I believe the first year was 99.
Wow.
So.
And that has a lot to do with why I wanted you in here today. And when you and I were talking on the phone yesterday, I had said that, and you made a very good point to me. And again, it was something I didn't really think about, but I know when somebody sponsors me, I mean, I'm not a racer, but you know, my fishing and things like that, I actually have sponsors. I go to those places. I spend money in those places. That can be an issue, especially when you know, and you even made the comment, well, geez, it'd be nice if they'd come and use my car wash once in a while or what. But
yeah,
now that was the Shane Roemeling I knew before.
When they got a Rydell's window sticker on their truck.
It was funny because the Shane Roemeling I've known forever, you probably would have filled my ear full of that whole type of thing for about 2 minutes. But yesterday you said the thing to me that really got me. It's like, you know what? That stuff used to bother me, John, but it doesn't anymore. No. Things don't bother me like they used to. Does that have a lot to do with your health issues in the last year? Don't have to be so excited about things, or just don't kind of let stuff bounce off you a little more?
I think it's gotten a lot better since I've had kids, you know.
Oh, sure, that makes a difference. Yeah.
But I think the last 4 or 5 years, but I mean, especially when you're realize that, you know, life could be taken from you any time in life.
Yeah.
So and in racing, same thing.
Sure.
You see a lot of tragic things happen.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But you know, it's not it. You ain't gonna change anything. So
no.
why let it bother you?
Yeah.
You know?
I see. I wish I could be that way.
You can be.
I let things bother me. My wife says I can hold a grudge, and I'll hold a grudge till the day I die. I mean, I've been holding grudges for 40 years on certain people. But
hey, we could get Pastor Paul down here with some holy water.
No, that's okay. I don't want to burn.
You can always forgive, but you never forget.
Yeah, there you go.
Have Tommy throw it on him. I'll hold him down.
Your mother's on fire. It is here right now. Joshua Johnson, good morning, gentlemen. Kaylee, shout out to Austin and Adam, sprint car guys supporting the Midwest Mod team. There you go. We certainly miss having Austin on the track regularly. Good for you, though, doing what you need to. Now, Tom, when we talk about the kids and all that kind of stuff, now, I'm at the age, and so are you. We have grandkids now. You've got how many grandkids?
3.
And one is a long ways away.
You got two over in New Hampshire.
Okay, 2 in New Hampshire and one down.
One down in Alexandria.
Okay, and I know how it is being a grandpa. I wish I could do it as much as you do, but you make a lot of trips back and forth to Alexandria to see your grandkid.
I do, and I'd like to make more trips out east too, but it gets to be a little difficult. Everybody's working out there too. And,
Sure. We all can't be retired.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Even when you are.
Yeah, right, right. Now, would you ever go out there and be like what's the word I'd be looking for? a grand nanny?
No, I'm not geared up for that. So,
I mean, go out there and hang out for a week or two. And
yeah, I'm good with that.
You guys go do your normal thing. Grandpa's here. That's all right. Okay, so before we get into anything more, I think we should take a little break here and get that out of the way because I got a lot of other questions coming up before we get into this. But right now, I want to talk a little bit about dog poop. Yeah, that's right, dog poop. You know, after a long winter, I was looking out the window this morning. Does your yard look like mine, more like a dog pasture than a nice yard? Get a hold of Jams Poop and Scoop to take care of your yard. You know, Jams usually charges $150, $200 for the first visit, depending on the size of your yard. But now through the end of March, pay only $100 per yard for the first visit and then only $20 per week per dog. Jams Poop and Scoop offers discounts for veterans, disabled, first responders too. And make sure to ask about 1 week of free service. Hey, get your yard looking like a yard again. Stick with the best. Support local. Call Jams Poop and Scoop 218-779-0686. April 19th, the Valvoline Tire One Toughest Monster Truck Tour Championship presented by Baymont by Wyndham Grand Forks will return to the Alaris Center with the nation's toughest monster trucks, including a brand new truck never seen before in North Dakota. Want to make it even more exciting? Grab a pit pass and come early. Walk on the dirt. Get up close to these massive machines. Meet the drivers and snap some awesome selfies. Tickets are available at the Trans System box office or online at alariscenter.com. Pit passes are available for free at Valvoline Tire One in Grand Forks and $15 wherever tickets are sold. Don't miss the monster truck fun April 19th at the Alaris Center. And when you stop in to Valvoline Instant Oil Change, tell them Grand Forks Best Source sent you for $10 off an oil change. It's the Valvoline Tire One Toughest Monster Trucks, April 19th at the Alaris Center in Grand Forks. All right, we are back on a Dirty Thursday. This is going to be a great time. I absolutely love this. Tommy Corcoran joining us, Shane Roemeling, and Austin Pierce, of course. Stephen Lewis and Dale, the producer, are here. Jump in whenever you want. I don't know what I'm missing out on yet.
Well, actually, before we continue, I remembered something from last night there. So I was sitting with Nick and his
what the
stepdad.
smoke was coming over.
yeah, right.
I thought I seen smoke.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, that's why I wear the headphones. It kind of keeps it, from getting out too much. But so sitting there in the Holland she shed with Curtis and his stepdad, they were doing some flooring and so
sure.
Yeah, so I stopped over there or whatever, and so he was showing me some snaps that our Katie from the show here, was out in Vegas or whatever and ziplining and whatever. So I told her I'd give her a shout out on the show. She's watching right now, and but for now, that's pretty much
okay.
what I got
I tried
on that
texting her this morning. I didn't know if she was back or not yet, but
I think they probably just landed because I just
obviously
saw her name
she wasn't
pop
here.
in,
My question to her was, "Were you in the studio last night?" And Dale's like, "Well, I think she's in Vegas." And I went, that's right. They were going on vacation over there.
Yep.
We got a bunch of pictures. Should we start throwing those out there? And here's what I want to do. We can see the pictures on the monitor. Tommy, I didn't get any from you. We've had you on here enough, but the couple of pictures. Well, I didn't get any of you either. I don't think, but. Okay, we did get some.
Yeah.
So between you two guys, go ahead, look at the pictures, and go ahead and explain them and all of that kind of fun stuff.
Well,
we had run through Tommy's career, so we're gonna go through these two guys for sure. So
we don't have enough time to go through Tommy's career again.
That's actually my first sprint car I bought back in 2004 when I bought out Jeff Liebrick and what the heck?
And Mike.
And
Mike,
sure. And Mike, And, don't ever get fooled when somebody tries to sell you a sprint car if they say, if you buy my sprint car, I'll come down and I'll help you in the pits. Because I don't think neither one of them helped me once. So I went out there and I flopped around like a fish out of water with that car. I swear to God. The first few years.
Was it that hard for you?
You know what? Yeah. You know what? How do you know that it was hard? Because you didn't know what to expect.
You've never done it before.
So I just got in it and I went and geez, there was no going back. It was just like,
all right,
this is super addictive and fun,
While we're looking, Joshua Johnson says, I'd known Tom's daughter Casey for years, but the year before his daughter Carrie moved east, I parked next to Tom almost every week, saw Carrie crewing for him just about every Friday. True. That's pretty cool. Daughter crewing for you.
Yep.
Wow. All right, now we're changing a little bit here.
So we're going to go back and forth here. This isn't actually Austin, but this is Austin's first car that he got from Jeff Van Ossick. So,
oh, wow.
He actually finished 08 in this car.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot Jeffy drove a car even.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, that car I drove my first time out in Minot. I rented the car from Jeff.
Oh, okay.
I was kind of looking for a way to get into the sprint car racing, and I helped Jeff out in the pits a little bit, just filling tires and fuel in the car. Nothing crazy, just the basics. And I actually asked him if I could rent it and take it to Minot for Motor Magic, and he said, well, I thought it was a crazy idea, and like I didn't think he would say yes, you know. And so
a couple beers later, well, I'll give it to you for $19.95.
You know, it's funny because I've been offered many times to hot lap cars, and I won't because I'm afraid of what happened to you coming out of turn 4. My luck, something would break. I'm a firm believer in Murphy's Law. My luck, something would break. And not to mention, if they'd ever asked me before I was 3 or 4 bush lights deep, it would make a big difference too. But there we go. But I'd love to one time. All right, here we go. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that was, I think, the same car next year.
I think that was his. I think that was the car he got from Andy Hillenberg.
Oh, wow.
I think it's like a '98 J&J or something like that. But
isn't that funny when a guy knows more about us than we do?
Yeah. Well, that's kind of one of those ones I kind of got to keep Lieberich stories now for him. So
there you
know
go.
what I mean. So.
Hey, now everybody knows who your mom is.
Yeah, Linda Pierce, realtor for Prairie Real Estate. So, she was my sponsor my second year. First or second year? Second year, I think that is.
Did you have to beg her? Because I know they're not a big fan of you racing, and they did not know, if I remember the story right that you told me, they didn't even know you had a race car stashed somewhere.
Yeah, they had no idea. I had saved up some money and cash or whatever.
Yeah.
And, when Jeff decided to be done, Jeff Van Ossick, he had sold me his roller, and I basically I took his construction trailer, bought the roller from him, and then when my parents were gone, I pulled it home and brought it in the back door of the shop and kept it down there. And my dad and mom never went down there that often.
Yeah, right in their yard.
And I became good buddies with Nick Sherrick at the time, and he would come over, and we kept going out in the shop and working on the car. And my parents, it took them about a couple of weeks before they finally came down there.
What are they doing out there?
Yeah, and they walked in. I had a sprint car all tore apart down there, and
I can see that.
didn't have a motor at the time, so it still wasn't surreal at the time, or for real at the time, you know. But
Austin, when you asked me to sponsor a car, you didn't tell me it was going to be your car. That is a great story. Actually, a few different racing people have said that same thing. Look at that. We can see part of the scar. Hey, it's going to sound bad if I say Shane's getting a little pussy there.
Yeah, that's a cat. That's definitely a kitty.
What's your kitty's name?
We got 2 kitties. We got one, Honey, and then May. Her name is May.
Okay. Are you a cat person? Obviously.
Of course, I love cats and I love dogs.
Yeah,
we love
went
animals.
We went from 4 dogs and 3 cats to just 2 dogs, all within a year. And now you remember, you can thank Don for these pictures.
Yeah, we just lost one of our cats, so that's why with that one you just seen, that was May. That's our newest cat.
Okay, yeah, we 3 cats we lost within a year, and the youngest one was 19. Yeah. The oldest one was 24 years old.
Yeah, no, it's no fun losing a pet. I know how
No,
people
it's
feel.
not. It is not.
I made Mike laugh the other day. He went from 2 dogs to 2 dogs and a cat, and then last week he said something about no, it's 2 dogs and 2 cats now. And I just kind of in a monotone voice, I was just like, "You need a bird," and he just burst out laughing. I was like, I didn't think it was that funny, but okay.
Well, as long as the river stays low, I'm not going to get another cat. But when the river starts to flood, everything comes up at my house, right up in the river bottom, right up to the You should see if you can ride a 2-seater like Dobmeyer's. Oh. All right, now we're starting to almost look more and more like the cars I've seen you in. Tell us about this one.
Well, that's 05, I guess. It's just another car, just another year. It's been a lot of years of racing, but
First orange car.
Yeah, first orange.
Yeah,
car,
that's what I mean when it started to look like your cars now.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I was just. Some of my paint jobs were a little too wild. You know, I had it looked like the paint was cracking and everything, and I had it's called a reflective finish, and everybody just wasn't ready for that yet. It was a little too
And you know, those look really cool when they're parked, but when you're flying by at 100 miles an hour, it gets harder to see that stuff too, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, what else we got? Oh, look at that.
That would have been probably early 2010 or 12-ish.
Well, it says 2010 on there.
Oh, you already got it on there.
See what happens when you give him beer?
I was looking at the Goodyear tires.
Austin,
trying
the
to figure
picture's
out-
over here.
Looking at the tires.
He's cross-eyed right now.
You know what? I threw these together last night, and this is the
36.
first time I noticed the Goodyears. Yeah, that was the Goodyear era. For
That
sure.
I didn't notice that either until now. I looked at the yellow and I'm like, what? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's 08 there. I'm still
Nice looking cars.
messing with the car.
Mm-hmm.
That's when tires were cheap. You know, and racing was a little bit more fun. It wasn't so expensive, you know. This price of these tires now is just getting out of hand. I think we should just...
Kind of sucks the fun out of things, doesn't it?
You know what? I really honestly think that we should like have our own tire made and bought and buy it in bulk and sell it for the club, you know.
You got to get NOSA tires. There we go.
I mean, $400 for a right rear.
Yeah,
is
that's
that what they
crazy.
are?
$430.
What was it back in 2008? Do you remember?
Is it
$95?
$430 or
$95.
I don't know.
How does that compare?
Tommy might remember. I don't remember.
When you look at these tires, I mean, everybody that buys a tire is partially paying for the guys that aren't paying for the tires.
Exactly. Right. Right.
You know, out on the road.
They're
So
free when they get them
Yeah,
from
I mean,
you.
you take a beating on it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know, I mean, our tires are reasonably cheap. I mean, we're paying $170 a tire.
And how long does a right rear last you? Depending on track conditions, I suppose. But if you're lucky, how many nights can you get out of a right rear?
Maybe 2.5.
Okay. And then you can switch it up for sprint cars. How many tires can you get out of a night? I mean, you know.
maybe one or half of one.
Yeah.
like that.
Wow. That's
There's
just
some
crazy.
tracks.
Depends on the track, though. I guess.
Sure.
There's
Sure.
some
Some-
where you can get a couple nights out of them.
And then there's tracks you go to that you get 3 tires are shot in a heat race.
Yeah. Wow. And you know, pretty soon you're spending more on tires than you can even win if you win the feature. You know, maybe not that much, but depending on where you're at, I guess.
Anybody that's in racing to make money, there's no such thing anymore.
Possible.
Yeah.
You used to be able to break even, but not anymore.
Yeah, Heather says, and we bitch about $175. Yeah, well, boy, I can see that. All right, moving on. Here we go.
Here's something else. Something else I just noticed. You got Casey's tail tank on there.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Man.
Racing was still on a budget in those days, so borrowing parts from people.
Still got Goodyears on the front.
This is year 3,
Yeah.
and you've still got. If you were out of the car there, you'd have Dobmeyer Racing on the suit.
Oh yeah,
Still?
yeah.
So-
Well, yeah. I don't know if that one was from Dobmeyer or if that was. I think Nick Sherrick bought that from. I think Chad Kemena maybe that. race suit.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah, and then Nick outgrew it, and then I fit into it, and that's how I got that one.
He outgrew it. It's like me, my damn clothes always shrink. I don't know what the hell the deal is there.
Yeah, yeah. I was still a big.
He's a grower, not a shower.
What was that?
It's that bush light material.
Yeah, outgrew it at 40.
the college days. You're drinking beer and eating Little Caesars pizzas every night.
You know, it was funny because I used to be 34, 36 pants for years and years and years, and now it's 36, 34. And I've been wearing 36, 34 for probably 30 years, but just not as high. They just keep getting a little bit lower all the time. All right. There we go. Got some more family stuff there. Shane, who are these people?
I don't know. No, that was our vacation at we went to the St. Thomas Virgin Islands.
Oh, nice.
We go every year, but we missed a year last year because of the cancer.
Yep. And you go there every year, St. Thomas?
Every year I go there and I actually take my family and I take one of my nieces with me every year usually.
Yeah, that's nice.
And yeah, they had a great time. I stayed in the motel room all 9 days.
Really?
Yep.
Just not feeling good or what?
Nope. After chemo,
Yeah.
really takes it out of you, but you just sleep but it was nice to be able to walk out onto the porch and see the view and stuff.
Sure,
That really
sure.
helped a lot, But I'm just glad they got to go and have fun again because, I don't like them to have to suffer because of what I'm going through.
Right. And, maybe they needed a little break too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
they wanted to go.
That is awesome.
They would have drugged me there, whether it was I don't know what's that movie where they Weekend at Barney's.
I
think
where's Shane? He's in a suitcase.
He's on a stick here. But yeah, we're gonna go again. So
Good. Jason Obregon, Sugar Shane. There you go.
yeah, that's his 09. Same.
Now it's starting to look like a Shane Roemeling car to me.
Yeah, it's starting to get a little bit funner. We're trying to figure things out in 09 a little bit, but
Right up on the cush.
yeah. It takes a while to get to figure it out, what you're doing in them sprint cars. I don't care what you say, you think you got it all, but there's always another little nick or advantage.
Well, I try to tell people it's not like playing basketball. You can't set up a racetrack in your driveway and practice. It's just your practice is on Friday nights or whatever night you're racing on that local track. And, if you get lucky enough to have testing tunes at the beginning of the year, which a lot of the times we don't get, people don't have a racetrack in their backyard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, totally.
All right.
That would have been my first year that Op Construction came on as a sponsor, and I'd say that year is probably when my kind of gave my career a big kickstart.
Sure.
Just getting a little more money behind my team.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I can't thank them enough because they were with me up until
They stuck with you forever.
up until my last year, which was a year and a half ago.
Sure,
now, but
sure.
They would come out and have like a whole night too, and bring like it felt like 100 people. They'd buy a whole section of the grandstand too.
Yeah, they did a customer appreciation night
Sure.
for people they did work for and their employee appreciation. They'd rent the 4-H building and cook out in the parking lot and have burgers and then buy everybody a ticket into the races. So,
Nice.
Yeah, so those nights were a lot of pressure to win, and I think we won on probably half of them. So
Yeah, well, that always helps,
yeah,
too.
so that helped. Yeah.
For whatever reason, I like that car the best. That's the first year with your style font, the two that
Yeah.
we know, and then
Yep.
that green and the white and whatever goes together.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, I liked the. I was a big Sioux hockey fan, so that's why I went with the green and white and black at first. And
That was probably, would that be a Billy car then? Or?
Yep, Billy. Pretty sure Billy came up with that one.
Okay.
And then once you throw the orange in there, then you got to kind of start
Sure.
tailoring your colors back
Sure,
a little
sure.
bit. So
Now, that's kind of more what I'm used to seeing. But gosh, look at that. That's 15 years old.
Yeah, that's back when we had the Goodyear tires.
Yeah. Man, that yellow really shows up on those pictures, doesn't it?
It was a lot of fun. We had so many more drivers back in the day.
Yeah.
It's you don't see as many drivers, but you see a lot of people that want to do it, and you see a lot of uncles and grandpas and friends that support these young kids that are all full of spit and vinegar
Yep.
and ready to rock and roll and just. Look at Gage. I think Gage has a potential. You just got to slow him down a little bit.
Yeah.
But I really think Gage has a potential of being a good driver too someday.
And I'm going to throw this out there, and I might take some flack for it too, but guys worked a little different back then too to get into a race car. I can imagine the stories coming from you, how you got in a race car, and how you got in your race car, and it's not the same anymore. We don't see as many of these kids working and mowing lawns and doing whatever they can to get money to build a race car. It's like, here you go, son, or here you go,
I
nephew.
didn't mow any lawns, but I did have to borrow $200 from my mother. So,
$200 for your first race car?
yep.
Did you get the whole car for that?
No, I scrounged a car.
Yeah.
But I needed money to finish it up, and God,
Wow.
I thought I was going to go broke.
Yeah. Jeez.
Little did I
$200. Won't even get you a tire nowadays. Wow.
And the funny part about a lot of this is we're kind of on the upswing with drivers again, cars.
Yeah.
But the biggest issue we've got, and the biggest issue in racing right now, is fans in the stands.
Sure.
We got to get some people back in those stands.
Yep. And we were talking about this earlier too with streaming and all of that stuff now. I get it. Streaming's awesome. We wouldn't be able to watch or have a Friday night in the garage or Saturday night in the garage watching some different racing. But do you think that takes away from getting fans in the seats, because now they can just sit in their living room and watch it?
I'm a little divided on that.
Sure.
I think the bigger issue is that the demand for the entertainment dollar is so huge.
Yeah.
And if it's not affordable, people can't do it.
Right.
If you take the average guy and his wife or girlfriend goes out there with a couple of kids, by the time he's out of there, he spent $150.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's not the end of the world, but you're not going to do it 4 times in a month.
Right.
So,
Yeah. It's nothing's getting cheaper. That is for sure. There we go.
So I think 14, I think, was when you won your first race in Greenbush, I believe. Right? Does that sound right? Was it 13 or 14?
Yeah, it was probably right in there. It was my 4th year racing full time. So yeah, so it was Greenbush for sure. I can't remember the year though. Might have been 13 because I don't know if I might have won one before I won the championship. I think 14 we won the NOSA championship and.
That's pretty crazy. You can win a race and the next year be the champion.
Yeah, it's I mean, once you get that first one, your confidence.
That's it.
Goes
And
up
you know, we've seen it. We talk about this all the time. You see the guys that have been into it 4, 5, 6 years. They're so close so many times. And then you step on your, you know what, and it only takes a half a second, and you go from first to third, and people can get down. I mean, I talked to a guy last year. He's like, you know, I don't know, I'm getting fed up with this. I'm like, you're so close, dude. You're so close. Just quit it and don't worry about it.
Well, especially so like, we can come back to that. We got to talk about that.
That is definitely Don. Don's mom went through a form of cancer, and that was her wig.
Oh, so. The thing is that look like you should be in the band Coldplay or something.
Yeah.
It's like, sing us a song,
okay.
Sugar Shane.
We're gonna put some pictures of Dawn on here one day.
I think that is awesome.
She's got this really cool shirt that says "Crush" on it.
Oh,
that
yeah.
She wears all the time. I'll have to hook you up.
And here's what this all boils down to for me is the sense of humor never went away. And thank you, Don. I hope she's watching. That's a great pick. And I'm guessing we might be. Oh no, here we go. All right, 2011, 2012.
I think as these pictures go along, he's going higher and higher.
He
up the
is going
racetrack.
higher and higher because he's just about cut that right rear off the back.
Getting gutsier and gutsier here.
There you go.
Yeah, no, that was 2012. That's probably about when racing was at its peak. I think we had a lot of drivers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and when you came in, like, we were lucky to get you in Jeff and Mike's stuff because we were down to 14, 15 cars when you came in. Yeah. We were really hurting when you came in.
Barely get 2 heats in, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was definitely fun.
So first year with this scheme, this is actually when you set the track record down in Glendon before we got before we got rained out. So
yeah, I can't remember. I think that might have been a Triple X car I'd gotten from Chris Burke maybe at the time. I don't really know why we went with yellow that time. I think Billy was crew chiefing, and he kind of threw the design together, and it looked real sharp.
Were you ever in your career, did you ever buy a brand new car from the factory?
Yeah, I ended up buying a brand new Schnee.
Okay.
So I bought one brand new Schnee, and then
was that back when Schnees were popular, or now that they're getting repopular again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So I had one it was a 2020, I believe.
Okay.
So I had one car my favorite car that I ever liked the most was one I bought from Casey Mack.
Okay. Yep.
And he won a lot of races in it, and then they clipped it, and then I bought it, and then that's when I started winning quite a few races here and there. And then I ended up wrecking it in Greenbush.
Okay.
And then we kind of went on like where we tried a Triple X and some other random ones that we could just get our hands on because money was always tight.
It seemed like back in the day, everybody drove a Schnee.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
Shanae Lawson, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think actually Mark's moving in that direction.
He is. I think he just picked up a couple of new ones. Yeah, I was over there. Well, I was with you guys on New Year's Eve, and I think that's what he had gotten.
Well, you'd have been in the era where you would have got a Schnee, but then he kind of got in with Eagle there. And moved to Lincoln and all that. So.
Yeah, so then I switched to Eagle after.
Okay.
Then we ran Eagles for the last few years. So.
2014.
I threw a few years in that because you'd bring that one out just kind of sporadically every once in a while.
I bought that car from Flayton, Ryan Flayton. He wanted to quit, and I bought that car, and I thought, I don't know, it had a smaller motor in it and stuff, and I didn't think it was going to be that great, and it ended up being one of my better cars. I think we got third in Buffalo River at that corn cob feed with that car.
Oh yeah.
It was a good car, you know. Ryan Flayton, he's really good at setting up a car when you got those little short dry tracks and stuff. He's he's pretty sharp.
Can you go back to that picture quick, Dale, that we just showed?
Yeah, sorry, give me 1 sec here.
Okay. Joshua Johnson, Austin, driving the different chassis, did you feel a difference?
At first you do. I don't know if it's in your head or if you're just being more sensitive to getting into something that your brain's telling you you're in something different. But I think the biggest thing, like I drove Shane's J&J this last year after driving the Eagle and the Maxim with Dahmeyer's, and they all felt really good. Like I'm like, holy cow, these feel awesome. And so then you want to start running that, but then you get back into your stuff and it's like, well, it's really the same thing, you know. And I don't know. It all boils down to they're all built pretty much the same. I mean, pretty dang close. And then it comes down to the suspension and the more fine logistics of I would say the torsion bars and the shock settings and your stagger and wheel spacing. So I would say a little bit in the chassis, but not a ton, I guess.
What about a late model? Because you'll hear guys, they'll get a new car and I can't drive it. I can't figure this car out. I don't know what the hell. Have you gone through that, and is there a big difference?
Yeah, there's a huge difference at times. And the evolution of the cars has been just through the roof over the last 10 years.
Sure.
I mean, the cars basically run off the right front, and they look like they're all jacked up. And it's tough to get used to. You know, when you come from the day when you used to slide the car a little more, and you know you probably drive them harder now than you did then.
Sure,
they stick.
So if you see a car that's for sale, a guy's got a car for sale, and say it's a 2014, but it's got 2024 updates on it, what's the first thing that goes through your mind?
It doesn't really bother me much.
Okay.
I mean, some of my best cars have been older cars that I took and had reclipped or just had updated. It makes all the difference in the world.
Sure.
I mean, if the cars are built well to begin with and they're built out of high quality tubing, I mean, they'll stand the test of time.
Josh says, on Tommy's end, there are cars that work really good on the clay and the south, but struggle on our black dirt.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
I had a car from 2011 to 2014, I think. I couldn't have found my ass with both hands.
Yeah.
It's just the way it was.
Yeah.
I never did figure it out. It wasn't a bad race car. I just couldn't figure it out.
Right, and I remember having that conversation with you, and that's why I asked you that. Okay. I wanted to go back to that, not that one. It was probably the next one. The Shane, it was a picture of Shane's car.
The black and white.
That one. When did you go to the FFAB? Because I thought that was a game changer. I absolutely love that, because people would go, FFAB, and they'd be thinking it was some kind of a saying like, frickin' fucking, you know, it's Forks Finest Auto Body, you know, and they'd go, duh.
It has two meanings, yes.
Okay, what's the other meaning?
Forks Finest Auto Body is the first one.
Yep.
And the other one is fucking fast and badass.
There you go. Fucking fast and badass. I like that. I think that FFAB is really cool. All right. 2016, we're getting up there now.
Speaking of, we're pulling the front end off the ground here. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh?
I'd almost forgotten about that white car.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a picture of Austin. He found the acceleration pedal finally.
I
kept telling him it was the one on the left.
I think I finally got a little bigger motor. That might have been the year I got one from Dahmeyer. Janet, maybe. I can't remember exactly what year it was, but it might have been right around that time.
Okay.
So,
how many more we got left?
about 10-ish.
Oh, geez. All right, let's speed them up.
Yeah, that's
there you go in the shop.
I was just at the shop. Yeah, I was just taking a picture of a couple of the cars. That's about it. I like that car. I kind of like that design, but I like the black and white one. But sticking with what I got now.
Sure.
What we're gonna stick with.
I like it.
We're gonna change it up a little bit this year for Austin, because Austin will be running my car probably most of the year.
That's what we're gonna get at here shortly.
Unless his wife makes him take another one of those trips in the camper, you know, like what's that show? But that's the plan. Is yeah. I mean, I love owning a car, and I love setting a car up. That's what I like.
Mm-hmm. And you'd be happy with doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the nights that he can't or if there's an out of town race, which I don't know if he really feels like he wants to race any out of towns, maybe we'll sucker him into it, you know.
Sure.
Tell him there's beer there or something. And yeah, then
iced
I'll race.
coffee.
Yeah, iced coffee. If you go to the out of town shows, Austin, doubles shots.
Gotta wait till after Lent.
There you go. Got the Canadians watching. Daryl, good morning, John, and everyone. Great show as always, boys. Like the racing stories and history. Remember lots of those cars. Campground have a new name, Little America. It's kind of like the Gulf. There we go, Little America. No, it's still going to be Little Canada. All right, as we roll through, did you miss that car? Do you miss racing every Friday?
I wasn't really missing it a whole lot until I would go to the track, and then it was game on. But
another conversation you and I had about that.
Yeah.
It's it might not be missing the racing itself, but and like I told you, I said I might not miss seeing the T1 on the track as much as I miss seeing Tom and talking to him.
We didn't really get a chance to miss Austin because I remember. So you went from Dobmeyer to Shane's and whatever, and then we went into the Outlaw show.
Yep.
And I saw you in line there in the concession stand or whatever. So then I asked you, I was just like, all right, whose car are you running next week? Because you're in the point deal. So, like, you're having a hell of a retirement here. Are you running for points? Like,
He can't quit. He's got talent. He's gotta
there's
keep
no
going.
doubt about that. And you're tied with how many people for third in NOSA points? You got to try to, wins. You got to try to get that. Yeah.
Knock a couple more off.
well,
I kind of had a chuckle when you said after dropping the car off, coming back, my first thought when I sell a big bunch of stuff is, I sold it too damn cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way that,
Yeah.
when you think about everything he sold, it's like, God, it's going to be a lot of money to try.
Yeah, how do I
replace
start
that,
over?
Right. But
How the hell did you just start sinking?
I don't know. He's going down.
You hit it with your leg, or?
Keep your head above the table, Austin.
that's his late show.
Did you hit it with your leg, or what happened? All of a sudden, it just started dropping.
yeah. All right, we're back.
Wow.
That's his late show setup.
There you go.
That's why he's won all those races. He gets lower late in the race. And,
Slouching.
Tim Mulvaney's ghost.
There you go. Center of gravity. All right, we'll rip through these pictures here, and I don't know how many are left, but wow, it's like I'm a moodle babe.
Yeah.
Best cat dad ever. You are a cat guy.
Yeah, I guess. When it comes
I guess.
when it comes to that,
When I have to be.
I actually like that car. Billy did a really good job on that car. That car was brand new for 2 shows.
2 shows.
Yeah. And then Wade raced against me.
Oh.
That was in Devil's Lake.
Okay.
That was one of my worst That was one of my worst crashes that I've ever had.
I wasn't there that night. That was they added that one at the end of the year. I think I was in Glendon, but I heard about it. Yeah.
Did that one ring the bell a little bit?
I should have won that race. I was winning.
Yeah.
But whatever. It's just racing.
Wasn't that one of those shows
Is
where
that
you
the
had
one
both
you-
late models and sprints at Devil's Lake that night?
I think so.
I believe
yeah.
so.
Okay.
I just remember after I wrecked the car, I just remember asking Woody, what happened, and he just kept telling me, "You wrecked." You got a right rear.
Pretty simple. You wrecked. All right.
If your friends can't wreck you, who can, right, Tommy?
So are you a Ford guy?
I go back and forth.
Okay.
He drives a Chevy, so don't let him lie.
I've had a handful of Fords, and then I have also worked Chevys and GMCs.
Sure.
as well, so-
And Lithia obviously had how many different dealerships, that they had everything.
Yeah, when Lithia was sponsoring me, I was driving Fords.
Sure.
obviously.
Okay, because it could have been Lithia, Toyota, Ford. It could have been all kinds of different ones. Jeep.
Yep, and then when
Dodge.
Nelson bought them out, then they had GMC
Sure.
Dealerships as well.
Okay.
So.
I was just glad they stuck with you and Jory because
Yeah.
that was mid-season. We were just like, are we gonna have to fill that spot on the race
Right.
car? Or,
Yep,
so.
yep.
There we go. Rapid fire. Wow.
Yeah, these last ones won't change too much. These are
Look
the
at that.
cars you all will know.
That's a great daddy-daughter dance or something or what?
Yeah.
Sure.
Usually I go every year.
Yeah.
This year I didn't go, but that's my youngest Ruby.
Wow.
She's my little heart
Ruby.
and soul. Yeah, Ruby Roemeling.
I have a granddaughter named Ruby.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
She's 8, and my oldest is 16, Hannah.
Wow.
Yeah, going on.
Going on 35.
The way she acts, yes.
Ruby and I share a birthday, so.
Oh, for cool. Yeah, that's neat. All right. Rolling through.
Yeah, so these last few won't change too much, but just kind of want to get all your stuff in there.
Okay.
And there's my oldest.
That's the one going on 32.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's 16, and she's got a lot of sass.
Yeah, and thank goodness she doesn't look like Dad.
She's a really good kid. She's
Yeah.
really good. I have to say, for kids, both of my kids stay out of trouble and do well.
And that's huge.
And I don't know how they get out of bed and to school in 5 minutes when mom's late and says, "Let's go."
Yeah, blame it on Mom.
Little Ruby drags her little butt out of there. I just don't know how the kids
What
do
is she,
that.
like a junior or a sophomore?
Yeah, she's got one more year.
Oh, one more junior. Okay. All right. Look at the water.
Nice reflection.
I got lucky that night.
Yeah. Where is that?
That is Glendon.
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, we got dumped on all weekend. We were lucky to get that show in, to be honest.
Then I got one bonus photo.
Okay. One bonus photo.
Gave me the okay to play here.
Yeah. Anytime he says something like that, it scares me too.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
So that is Shane or Austin in Shane's car, since
Sure.
you kind of let us know that that's kind of gonna continue here.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Well, that gets us on to the next part of the show. And thank you for the pictures. And thank you very much, Dale, the producer, for putting that all together for us. There's all kinds. You always hear the silly season rumors. I didn't really know what was going on. You and I had a conversation on New Year's Eve about some things going on. And then I know, we were still wondering about you and your health issues. But what is the plan going into this season then, as far as you two are concerned?
Well, I'm hoping from what me and Austin have talked is he's gonna try to race the Grand Forks shows if he can. Mm-hmm. Unless the wife makes him
Go to the lake.
play the camping game.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm pretty sure I've sabotaged the camper.
We sold the camper now.
They sold
We
it.
sold the camper.
They sold it. They probably. Well, I shouldn't have done what I did then. So I should have left the camper alone.
And now your plan then, because for the last couple of years you didn't really go on the road much. Will that still be the same?
Yeah, I mean, for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll probably just focus on running a few shows in Grand Forks here, and kind of that'll just be the focus for
Sure.
now.
And Shane, what about if you want to take your cars on the road? Have you got a plan B, or hopefully maybe we'll see you back in the car?
Oh, I got a few drivers. I've talked to a couple other people that maybe might want to do out of town, or I might do out of town if Austin's guys will follow, or once in a great while or something. But I've talked to Thomas Kennedy a little bit. Maybe Thomas might want to play a little bit. I even talked to Chris Burke.
Did you?
And I said, maybe I should get you in the car one out of town show or something,
Was he for it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And
He's been married for a while, so he's pretty bored now.
Oh, getting back to reality.
He says, I haven't rode in a car for a long time, so.
Yeah. We've heard so many things about Thomas, and I always wonder if are we going to see him again? There were rumors last year. I thought we were going to see him, but that didn't fall through. So
I know he still has the itch for it. So
I know. Yeah, I know.
that's
he's
the
still
only
got
thing
the
I
itch.
can say. He's got the itch.
Right.
Well, we all do, I suppose. But
Right. So this again, I can't thank you enough, Tom. I didn't know how to approach you again. I had tried, and like I said, I kind of gave up. You are so hit and miss because you're so busy. When all of this finally came together as of yesterday, I was just like, oh man, this is gonna be great. I'm super stoked.
I knew, 5 years. I was just like, I knew once we drug this guy in kicking and screaming, after 5 minutes we'd get him to open up, and
Sure.
we'd have ourselves a good show. The Shane I know. So
Yeah. No, it's this racing addiction that we all have that, gosh, if we were only smart.
Yeah. And these guys have.
Looking, yeah. Instead of good looking, yeah.
Can't have it all, right?
No.
Whoever thought they'd see a dinosaur racing a late model, right?
Not doing too bad. And you know, you guys have heard this story with me. I had just bought a car when I met my wife. Back then when we were running, it was a super stock. And I was in the process of building it. I was helping a guy in an A-mod. I was living in Thief then, and we were running up in Greenbush. But I met my wife, and we got serious, and she was going to grad school. And so I sold the car. And she said, well, you know, I'll buy you one when I get a job and I'm graduating and all this stuff. Well, by then, fast forward a few years, you take a year off because of the flood and all that. I get my gig at the River City Speedway, and I'm loving it. I mean, it's fun. One day she just said, hey, it's that time now. And I didn't know what the hell she was talking. I'm like, oh, really? Oh, here we go. To buy a race car. And I think it took me all of about 11 seconds to say, you know, I think I'm good. I think I'm good right now. I got the best of all worlds. I get to hang around with people like we have in the studio. I get to watch racing with great people. I get to drink beer while I'm doing it. And it doesn't cost me anything. And I'm pretty much guaranteed money every time I show up at the racetrack. So I'm guaranteed a check. And it wasn't now that I just turned as old as I am, now I shoulda, woulda, coulda think about it all the time. You know, like you do. Yeah. You're just like, oh, darn it, should I have or
well, I finally got the monkey off my back and got at least one in or whatever. Right. I feel the same way as you, too. It's just like I don't want to upset the apple cart too much. I got it pretty good here, too.
Sure.
You know.
And, you know.
If it works out, it works out. But if it doesn't, it doesn't.
I would have loved to have. I mean, have you ever thought about how many laps you have turned on a racetrack?
No.
I mean, it would be.
Honestly, it'd.
You know, we talk.
It'd be pretty hard to figure out because for a lot of years I did a lot of racing. I mean,
sure.
I think the
we could have Elon Musk look into it.
Yeah, the biggest season I had, I ran 68 shows.
Wow, 68 shows. Yeah. And you know, you'll see things like trucking companies congratulating a guy for making it to 2 million miles accident free or whatever. When you think about, because when you say that many shows, I know one night at the sites, I think I called 36 races one night. So you think about that, and if you do that 60 times a year, times 60 or whatever, and I mean, you're talking about 1 million laps, you know?
You know, it's kind of funny. It's a lot along the lines. I think I mentioned probably one of the first shows that we did was that I had kept receipts from day one.
Oh, wow.
And all my tax records from day one when I started.
Yeah.
And my plan was when I was done to add it all up to see what I'd spent.
Oh, sure.
Well, I'd shredded it all a while back.
You're running out of room.
Because I don't want to know.
Oh, yeah, so, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Could have had a hell of a bonfire.
Oh, yeah.
It's only money.
Yeah,
it really
it's only money.
It's just a piece of paper. What's funner, running a race car or having a little bit more money in the bank?
I kind of wish you would have kept it and like you'd have known about me a little bit sooner there. I was like, I'll figure it out and not tell you, but I kind of want to know.
Yeah, he would have figured it out too. Yeah. I figured he already knew.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling.
Yeah. Before we wrap up, it's great to see you, Shane. You know, you just hear things, and I knew you were, you know, fighting a little battle here. But when I'm looking at you right now, to me, you are just the Shane Roemeling that I've always known. Yeah. It's different not seeing you in a race suit, and you know, I'm going to admit you're a little more mouthy in the racetrack, and when we're sitting in the pits and stuff, and in a good way. I mean that. I'm glad that you are doing as well as you're doing. Yeah. It's awesome to see you here, of course, because I just don't want to see the day when you finally hang it up, because I'm afraid I'll never get to see you unless I come over to your garage or see you in the Legion anymore. And Austin, for you, what is your youngest daughter's name?
Lila.
Is that the one my wife just fell in love with? Absolutely fell in love with her, I think. What are your kids' names?
I got Leona's the oldest.
Leona. That's what it was, because we were at my birthday party.
Yep.
And we were talking about a Leona to Leona Borgen, Jeff Borgen's mom, and it's like, we know these other Leonas. But my wife absolutely adores your kids, by the way. They're like postcard kids. I'm glad that you're going to be back. Steven, this has got the fixings for me for a great year here.
Yep. It's looking good. This just this show in general is one of my favorites. The way today went. So.
And I want to thank you guys, everybody that texted from all over the place. It's not that far until we get back, that far along until we're back on the racetrack. Shane, I'm going to keep good thoughts for you. I know you're going to beat this. You're going to be good. You got a great support group like we talked about. Just to get all these guys together. I mean, you had fun in Fargo yesterday. This to me is a blast. Thank you guys, every one of you.
Yep. I get to do it twice a week. It's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. We didn't even get into half the stuff I wanted to talk about today, but that's what happens when you're having fun. I want to thank Tommy, Shane, Austin, of course, Stephen Lewis, and Dale, the producer, for bringing you this show today. And thank you to all the people that texted. We couldn't do it without you. And, of course, we couldn't do it without Rumor Sports Bar and Casino. They have been a sponsor on Dirty Thursday. I beat this like a dead horse since day one of this show. You can see some of the specials going across the bottom of the screen. What a great place. And by the way, you can watch UND hockey tomorrow night at 7:30. And if they win, they'll be on at 7 o'clock again on Saturday. Saturday, April 5th, they got the big poker tournament sponsored by 701 Poker coming up. All kinds of things going on at Rumors. You know, it's a great place to watch a hockey game because they got like 900 TVs. Down yourself one of the world-famous beer towers while you're doing it and get some food today. Get a sandwich and a side for just $7. Rumor Sports Bar and Casino in the Grand Cities Mall. They are open every day from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. I want to thank everybody for coming in here today. We're not quite sure who we're going to have on next week, but we're real soon from track schedules. They are almost all out now. We're getting there, folks. Have yourself a great day, all right? We're going to see you all in the morning. Remember to like, share, tag, and follow us, and hit that notification bell. It rings every time we go on the air. Man, we love the Forks. We love Dirty Thursday. And, in fact, Grand Forks' best source, you know, we gave the Forks their identity back again.